The fishing news is brought to you by Shoreline Insurance Agency.
Win the incredible Steigercraft, Evinrude, Loran's Grand Prize Boat Package, and more in the Fisherman's 2018 Dream Boat Fishing Challenge. Get the details at thefisherman.com. This week's heat and humidity had a definite impact on the fishing this week. The weekend should provide a little bit of relief, but there are thunderstorms in the forecast that bear watching. On the east end, striper fishing is still good, but has become inconsistent with some slow fishing on some days and nights and good fishing on other days and nights in the Montauk rips, according to several captains. Captain Keith Williams on the Fin Chaser said porgy action in front of the lighthouse has been top-notch virtually every day, with the boat limiting out on just about every trip. Tuesday was no exception, with easy limits on porgies to 3.5 pounds and sea bass to 4.5 pounds. Lots of quality sea bass coming from Frisbees, Cartwright, and Southwest Ledge. Frank at Westlake Fishing Lodge noted a definite improvement on the fluke action, with good numbers of quality fish in deeper water off of Frisbees, Cartwright, and Rocky Hill. On the North Fork, Captain Rich on the Orient Point-based Nancy Ann 4 reported some quality fluke and sea bass, making for good mixed bag action. The boat saw fluke to 13 pounds along with plenty of jumbo sea bass. Striper fishing is good, but you'll have to cull through lots of shorts for those keepers. Plenty of big blues are mixed in with the striped bass and sea bass. On the South Shore, Moriches has the edge for keeper-sized fluke in the bays. Jay at Silly Lily's fishing station in East Moriches said Hart's Cove has been the hot spot for fluke, with fish from 19 to 24 inches taking bucktails tipped with spearing. The most consistent spot has been at Buoy 5 in the Cove, and Rich at Lindenhurst Bait and Tackle reported there's still a few fluke left inside the Great South Bay, but the real bite is happening outside the inlets in 40 to 65 feet of water. Large baits like Peruvian spearing, whole squid, or long strip baits have accounted for better quality fish and quantity. Fluke, sea bass, porgies, and ling are also on the ocean reef as well. And now let's check in with Nikki Fishing Girl and find out what's going on with the party boats out of Captree.
Thanks, Tim. Reporting on the Dixie 2 out of Captree State Park, fishing the Great South Bay. Now, on the flood tide in the Great South Bay, we've been seeing plenty of short fluke life action, with some keeper fluke mixed in between, and loads of sea robins. Most of our bigger fluke are coming from out in the ocean. We've been drifting on the Fire Island Reef and picking up some doormat fluke up to 6 pounds. Also on the drift, we've been getting some nice knothead sea bass, as well as some nice porgies.
On the west end, Bill Witchie at Combs Bait and Tackle in Lambertyville said there had been plenty of fluke in the main channel near the Meadowbrook Bridge on the last of the incoming, but you'll have a hard time finding a keeper. Captain Willie on the Starstream 8 said he's been fishing hard bottom and finding good fluke action, with the number of keepers taking 5-inch white gulp or 6-inch pink and white gulp. Quite a few sea bass have been mixed in with the fluke, and the better ocean action has been found at the Cholera, the Hempstead Reef, and McAllister grounds. Jerry at Bernie's Bait and Tackle in Sheepshead Bay said porgy action is the best that he's seen in years. They're pretty much everywhere in the bay and on the outside, with the Rockaway Reef being one of the hot spots. Now let's go further west and check in with Mike Manuel.
Thanks, Tim. Hey, fishermen. On today, Wednesday, hump day, went out to the side of the Ambrose Channel, facing Sandy Hook and in between Staten Island and the Verrazano Bridge. Well, a lot of shorts today, guys. A lot of shorts. Like I said, use small gulp within the 4-inch size. Anything bigger than that, you're going to lose a lot of small fluke. Not that you really want to catch small fluke, but it's better to catch something than nothing. A lot of sea robins out there too, guys. So it'd be great to take a kid fishing or somebody who has not been in the outdoors. Take them fishing, guys. Now's the time. You got a lot of snapper blues, you got porgies out there, and the occasional keeper-sized fluke. Well, reporting from Staten Island side, this is Mike. Adios.
On the North Shore, Louie at Island Bait and Tackle in City Island described the porgy action as non-stop. They're everywhere, including Hudson Park, Huckleberry Island, Glen Island, and Orchard Beach. Rob from High Hook Bait and Tackle in Huntington said the porgies are all over. The smaller fish are on the inside, while the larger scup are setting up on the outside, places like the 11B and 28C. Fluke in the shallow areas are almost all shorts, with better quality flatties at the OB buoy and the buoy 15. Now let's check in with Hawaiian Dan.
Thanks, Tim. Aloha from Hawaiian Dan of TalkFishTV.com. Out here working the backwaters of Long Island in this crazy inclement weather. And yes, there's still fish to be found. The bay anchovies are a little bit smaller this week and about the 1-inch size, making matching the hatch a little bit tougher. It's crazy weather today. I would say earlier today I got out, the winds were sustained 10 to 15 knots. The wind shut down, the rain turned on, and heck, it's rinsing off all my gear, so a little bit less work for me when I get back to the house. Still a reason to get off that couch and get out there and fish. Send in your videos, your photos, your tips, your techniques, and your reports. And until next week, this is Hawaiian Dan from TalkFishTV.com reporting back from the Fisherman. Now back to you, Tim. Aloha.
We have a new correspondent reporting from the Eaton's Neck area, Peter Tarnowski. Peter, what fishing information do you have for us this week?
Hi, this is Pete Tarnowski reporting out of the Eaton's Neck area where fluking continues to be red hot in the triangle and also south of the 13 buoy near the brush pile. I've been using a bucktail and teaser rig, tipping both hooks with gulp. Earlier in the week I was hitting well with chartreuse, and over the weekend I was doing better with pinks and whites. The bucktail itself actually made a difference for me. I started earlier in the week with a silver spro bucktail, was doing okay, switched over to a sand eel pattern bucktail, and the hitting was non-stop. The short to keeper ratio was about 4 to 1. The shorts were nice, 17, 18-inch shorts, and landed a couple of keepers on board, but a couple of larger keepers I lost because I was by myself, and getting a large keeper in, getting a large fluke in with the net and handling the rod by yourself, not easy to do. So here's a tip. If you're going fluking, definitely bring a friend, or even better, bring someone who knows how to handle a net. It'll lead for a less frustrating experience. I'm back out here again, and we'll give it another shot. Back to you, Tim.
Paul at Paulie's Tackle Shop in Montauk said the north side has mixed size blues, but there is no pattern to the tide or time of day to when they show up. The south side is yielding some bass on needlefish and darters at night tides, and lots of small bass along the ocean beaches from Ditch Plains back to the west. Small sublegal bass are along the backside of Moriches and Shinnecock inlets and some sound beaches, along with some cocktail blues. While the bluefin action might be fading due to warm water temperatures, yellowfin tuna have taken up residence along the 30-fathom line in the vicinity of the Cambria since Monday. With water temperatures in the high 70s, don't be surprised if you see white marlin or wahoo in the area as well. There's also lots of mahi around. Check this one out, sent in by Captain Matt Fritz. He says anything floating around the 30-fathom line has dolphin under it. Out in the canyons, the story is big eyes. Check out Teddy Prager from Seaford. His crew went 7 for 10 with some nice eyeballs. Now let's go to Fisherman Senior Editor Fred Golofaro for some thoughts on how things are shaping up for the weekend.
Hey, thanks, Tim. And the weekend's looking a little bit shaky. There is a threat of thunderstorms on Saturday and Sunday. The latest forecast is saying 60% chance of seeing some boomers develop. That could change, but if you're going to be out on a boat, pay close attention to the weather forecast and keep your eyes peeled to the north and west, especially during the late afternoon, since these summer storms can pack some pretty strong winds. Two other options for this weekend are triggerfish on South Shore rock piles and anchor chains, and snappers are now at many of the docks on both the North and South Shore. A lot of fun for the kids and for the whole family if you want to do some of that. Hey, and it's not too early to mark your calendar for the Fisherman Surf/Inshore Fishing Show. That's right, we've expanded the surf show to include inshore fishing. There's going to be seminars covering inshore and offshore fishing. Some great speakers lined up. The date is Wednesday, September 12th at the Huntington Hilton. It's from 6 to 11 p.m. Till next week, Fred Golofaro here for thefisherman.com.
Here are some upcoming events. August 8th through the 11th is the Hamptons Offshore Invitational, and August 11th and 12th is the Captree Snapper Derby. If you'd like to be part of our weekly video fishing forecast, we're looking for social media savvy anglers for hyperlocal reporting from around the New York Metro and Long Island area. So if you're a captain, tackle shop, or just an avid angler, contact me at libayrat@gmail.com. Remember, like our video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and be a subscriber to the Fisherman magazine to be part of the Dreamboat contest. Get out there, catch 'em up. This is Tim C. Smith for thefisherman.com.